Himalayan Institute. And so it's a classic yoga retreat center where they practice a very classic interpretation of yoga. And it's a really nice complement to what we do. So we go from Thursday to Sunday, so those almost 4 days, and they provide incredible food, a beautiful setting, beautiful hiking. They also process chocolate and coffee, so those are nice little perks that are not typically part of yoga retreats. And I will teach you yoga every day. In addition, they will give us a little bit of learning about what they know of yoga. In particular, what we selected this time is some of the classical origins of yoga, lectures on the Yoga Sutras, all of that. And then the last day, I'll bring that all together and share with you how that equates to what we use as our more modern methodology. So a little bit of learning, a whole lot of being with incredible people, and in the end, just a really great restful retreat. So if you are interested, it's mid-September, and I'm happy to share more about it with you one-on-one afterwards if you'd like more information. Let's get ready to start. Sunday is one of the best days of the week for yoga because, I don't know, we always seem to come in with this attitude of taking care of ourselves and relaxing into the process, but then also we have 90 minutes together. So hello at home to Rob and to Megan. Good to have you with us. And then for everyone here in the studio as well. Begin by putting your attention on your breathing. We use an Ujjayi style of breath that builds an inner fire. So it goes in through the nose and out through the nose. Though sometimes we'll just open up our mouths and sigh to just give ourselves energetically a clearing. Our practice is called Journey into Power because movement by movement and breath by breath, it takes us on a journey that in the end results in us feeling settled, calm, empowered, and ready to take on whatever challenges are facing us in our own individual lives. And one final piece is according to how it's important to us to resolve those issues, not how it is for some other entity or person to solve your personal issues. That was one of the really incredible things that I got in my years of training in this style of yoga, that I chose how I would resolve the challenges in my own life. On your next inhale, bring your body up into downward facing dog. So your body will be in this upside down letter V shape. Then start to move around and discover the skin you're in by bending and straightening your knees, wiggling your fingers. Try out opening the pose longer on the mat or wider on the mat and just feel how it feels for you. Every instruction you're given is given to you, obviously intellectually, to do something physically, but ultimately then for you to feel how it feels and decide then how it should be. Bring yourself forward, step up to the front of your mat. When you get there, lift up halfway so you can just stretch your whole spine long and then hang down. So organize your feet next. Set them up wide and parallel to one another. And then use all four corners of each foot, like your foot is a box and it has corners. Evenly distribute your weight. Then keep your breath flowing and sway from side to side and just start inviting in a warming up or awakening up into your body. We do talk a lot about very specific physicality on purpose in our style of yoga because it draws yourself out of your thinking brain and into your experiencing body. When we think about physical and anatomy, we think about systems like bones and muscles and organs and all of those parts. And though we also have a system of energy, bless you, in our body that actually has key locations. Our Empower training and our adaptation training, those are two different trainings that really focus in on this system of energy. In different cultures, it's called different things, but in the system of yoga, it's called your chakra system. As you hang here, just keep on breathing and let the whole back side of your body open up. Then press your feet down into the ground until you feel like the earth lifts back up into your body and brings you rolling all the way up to standing. Last thing is to unwind your neck and lift your gaze, then sweep your arms overhead and bring your hands down into prayer position. We begin and end class by chanting Om together 3 times. That sense of chanting has a lot of different results, including it's a breathing exercise, which is important, but it also begins to align the system of energy. 7 chakras up the core of your body, from the foundation at the base of your torso, I am, and then to your lower abdominal area, feeling, your upper abdominal area between your ribs, thinking, at your chest, loving, at your throat, expressing, at your center of the forehead, your unique vision, and then ultimately your divine connection or expression. The chanting goes from the bottom of that to the top. We'll try it on 3 times. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and reach up. Fold for the floor as you exhale. Lift halfway. High plank to low plank as you exhale. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and breathe. We're in a section of the sequence called Awakening. And as we move through these sun salutations, they're almost a mini class unto themselves. And they begin the process of awakening from the root chakra, I am, all the way up to your unique divine expression. Take one more breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees, step or jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Press your feet into the earth, stand up, look to the ceiling and reach, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, move to the low plank on your exhale. Then inhale, upward facing dog, move to downward facing dog. 3 breaths, breathe in and a steady breath out. Another one, breathe in, long, steady breath out. Here's the last one, inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees, jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Stand, extended mountain pose, reach, fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift halfway, move to the low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, in and out. That's it. 2 more, breathe and empty. Last time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Stand, look up, stretch up, reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. These breathing exercises, especially this one, that sun salutation A is meant to stretch and compress the apparatus of your breathing so you have an ability to take deeper and deeper breaths. One more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Press down, stand up. So what can you do here? Really reach. Then fold to the floor and close, empty your breath. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. So consider as you're breathing, you're expanding and compressing all the space that really is your 4th chakra, that space where we said it was lovingly or with love that you express yourself through life. One more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Stand so you feel your whole side ribs stretching and fold. Just compress and empty. Then halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, you stretch and fill. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths together. Yes, your breathing should be challenged here, not what you comfortably walked into the room with. Here's the last one. Inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Let's do one more. Stand up, stretch and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, move to your low plank. Up dog, down dog. That's it. Anytime you need to open your mouth and just sigh, do that. Because as we're working, we're building up energy, we're releasing it, but sometimes we have to let a lot go. Bend your knees on this exhale and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose. We'll now hold it. So sit into your heels and reach your arms and breathe here. So now your base chakra, your first one, starts all the way down at the bottom of your torso. But it also includes your bones, your muscles, and your legs. So now that we come into Sun B, we get more into the lunges and the strength and power of your legs. So you'll want to really sit deep until you feel the whole of your legs waking up. And relieve some of that work by lifting your pelvic floor, making it a little lighter. I see some of that work. Now inhale, reach up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, sounds like it worked. Low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Warrior one on the right side. Step your right foot forward, back foot flat, and we'll hold this. Breathe here. Set your eyes on one point, maybe on the ceiling. And then feel with your felt sense. So that means you don't use your eyes and look, but you just feel how your body is. Feel your 2 feet. See that the 4 corners of both, especially the back ones, evenly pressing down, and then come so far into the lunge, you can now also feel your back leg. Once you have that, just stretch for the ceiling and let your body wake up. Your legs, your pelvis, all wake up. Deep, deep lunge. Then inhale, reach. Bring your hands to the floor. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Your left side steps. Step forward and lunge. Arms overhead. Eyes on one point. Now keep your breathing flowing this time. Last time was a little hold the breath. This time keep it flowing. When we're looking at your first or your root or your base chakra, legs, bones, muscles, it is the quality of the sense of belonging or I am. Take a deep, deep lunge. Keep the deep lunge. Keep your breath. Look up and reach to the ceiling. Now 2 easy breaths here. You can do this. Keep your breath flowing. One more. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. You got 3 breaths here. Work together. That's it. Smooth, long, steady exhales. Here's the last one. Inhale. Bend your knees on the exhale. Now jump. Halfway lift and fold. We'll flow though. Sit deep, but keep your legs just as strong as you discovered them to be. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Drop to the low plank with strong legs. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, right foot forward, deep lunge, strong feet, you reach. Hands down, chaturanga, and empty. Up dog to down dog, left side, step and lunge. We're waking up, I am. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. So simultaneous in these sun salutations, to using our strong legs, waking up a sense of belonging, we're also floating and flowing forward and back on the mat, which wakes up the quality of the second chakra. Take another breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit, reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right foot, step forward, lunge and reach. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Left side, step and lunge. The quality of the first chakra is earth. You reach. Hands down, chaturanga flow, the quality of the second chakra is water. Up dog to downward facing dog and breathe. Move energy with your breathing. One more time. Exhale, bend your knees, float, jump to the front, halfway lift and move like water, fold. So smooth and steady, chair pose, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Reach, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Up dog, down dog, left side step and lunge. Don't worry if it starts getting a little messy. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. So matching the movements to the breathing. Not short, choppy breaths, but these smooth, flowing breaths like the waves coming into the shore and receding. That's a quality we want to bring on board in the sun salutations, matching the breathing and the movement with that smooth quality. One more breath, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift and fold. Chair pose, sit and reach and fold. Halfway lift, drop to the chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Sweep your arms up and right back down, chaturanga. Upward dog, downward facing dog, left foot steps, land your feet, I am, and reach feeling, hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog, breathe. Your second chakra is associated with the area of your reproductive organs. That second chakra has to do with your gut feelings in general. One more round. Breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Up dog, down dog, right foot forward. Plant your I am, reach with feeling. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog, left side, step, anchor your feet. Deep, deep legs. You reach and lift. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Maybe we should work on this piece together. You can feel the energy from all the work you've just done. Collectively, take an inhale, open up your mouths and just sigh. One more time. You feel the change? Breathe in and exhale. Now raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee and flip the pose over. Just keep your breath flowing the whole time. You want to land your feet and create a strong foundation. And then this whole quality of opening and breathing. I am feeling. Side plank. Bring your right hand to the mat. Face the long left side of the mat. Stack your body up. Once you get your body stacked and stretching from the edge of your foot all the way on both sides of your body to your armpits, turn your chest to the ceiling, look up, and then float high plank to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. The left side now. Keep your breath flowing. Leg in the air. Bend your knee. Flip the pose over. Keep your breath flowing just like that. Steady breathing. Reach up and overhead. From your feet through the whole of your torso to your fingertips, maybe touching the ground. Side plank. Left hand on the mat. Face the long right side of your mat and stack your body up. And then stretch it out. Even though it's tipped on its side, stretch it out. You got it, Jordan. Turn your chest to the ceiling. That's it, Amanda. Nice, Tamara. One more breath. High plank to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We'll move into vitality now. Right foot step forward for crescent lunge. Arms overhead. Take the first few breaths of this pose, either on your knee or back knee lifted, and establish your breath and your drishti. Establish your feet and your legs. Here for the second chakra, you hug in the low front of your pelvis into your spine and lift. Yes, just like that. Then you're free to reach up and go back. You start to feel the stretching and the opening in this area of your upper soft abdomen, right at the bottom of your rib cage. Breathe in and reach. Hands to prayer position at your chest and twist left elbow to your right knee. Now fire up your back leg and stretch from your back heel reaching back to the crown of your head reaching forward so that both of these sides of your torso are long and the twist is concentrated in this band of your rib cage area, your diaphragm area. You can open up your arms and take a few breaths here. We're coming into the space of your third chakra. Take another breath in, stay here and exhale, then reach up to the crescent lunge and open your body up to the warrior two. Now keep your breath flowing. Give yourself some time to feel your feet, your legs, the low belly, the stretching up through the sides of your waist. So sides of your waist as long as they can be right now. And then tilt for extended side angles. You want to keep especially the bottom side waist long. You'll do that by dragging this right thigh bone back and stretching this underside of your torso long. You could wrap your top arm around behind your back if you would like to. Reach underneath your front leg with your right arm and hold hands behind your right hip. Wherever you are, 3 more breaths. You can just press your hands into your hip and lift your chest to the ceiling. Complete your whole last breath and twist, then hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. I think it seems like we need a sigh. Can you feel that? How the room builds attention and then we just sigh and it releases? But we have arrived at a new level of calm, of belonging. Step your left foot forward to crescent lunge. Set your gaze, arms overhead, and breathe. Start at the bottom, your feet, your legs, the low pelvis, the stretching up through the upper abdomen. Keep your breath flowing. Reach up and go back. I am feeling, as we move here into the third chakra, this area of our body that can get pretty tight, particularly in the back, the unconscious side. I am thinking. Lift the pit of your belly, reach up and stretch back, and in that big stretched position, take 2 more breaths. Take another breath in this stretched position. Then hands to prayer and twist, right elbow to your left knee. Keep your breath flowing. Once you anchor your elbow, fire up, back leg to the crown of your head, stretch. You'll feel it lift your right hip a little higher in the air. Keep going a little higher. There. Now breathe. You can feel it right here in this part of your back, right at your back right ribs. You can open your arms, half bind the pose or full bind the pose. All of these poses where we're twisting, wringing out, we're looking in particular for this back lower rib cage area, the dead zone, to start waking up. Take another breath in, stay here and exhale, then come up to the crescent lunge and set your gaze. Open your body to warrior two. Good work. Keep your gaze steady. Your gaze keeps you right here present in the action. Soon as your eyes start to drift, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but then your mind starts to wander. I know that's definitely true for me. It took me years to be able to keep my drishti set for a whole practice. Deep lunge and stretch your arms long. You want to feel both of your legs right now. Tilt for extended side angle. Breathe. So now come down low in your legs. Bend your front knees, a lot of you, a little more. That's it. And reach for the floor with your bottom arm. You can reach for the floor, Jordan. Yes. Steady breathing. Bend your front knee a little more if you can, Ruben. Chest toward the ceiling. Bind the pose if you'd like. 3 more breaths. 2 arms stretching if you like. For everybody, turn your chest to the ceiling. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Good work. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. Have a sigh. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Open your feet hip width distance, sit way back and just reach your arms forward for a second. Just a bear squat at first. Get this quality of your legs being powerful and strong. Remember, it's the earth in our legs. Then lift the pit of your belly, the water of the second chakra, and now the fire of this third chakra that we're working on. I am thinking. Bring your hands to prayer, twist toward the right. As we move up through the first three chakras that we're working with, I am feeling and thinking. Take your top arm around behind your back, halfway bind the pose. What are we building here? A mantra for the whole practice. Stay here, inhale. Now stretch the front line of your spine long, exhale. Reach up to the chair and forward fold. Feet are still open hip width distance. Hook your big toes with your middle and index fingers and stretch down. Now, how does this pose fit into a third chakra, lower back rib cage, lower front rib cage, physical space? Breathe and breathe right into your back lower ribs. We've got twisting and wringing out, but we also have this incredible opportunity to breathe into an area that typically on a lot of people's bodies doesn't even move anymore. It's frozen. Energetically, this is the seat of being powerful. Thinking, manifesting, creating. Release your toes. We'll twist the other way. Start with the bear squat so that you can get way deep in your heels. You can see that your feet are parallel. Your thighs are parallel. You can lift the pit of your belly in the pose. Keep all that, then hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow to your left knee. Both sides of your body evenly long. So from your right armpit back to your right hip crease. That's it, Bob. Arms open if you need them. All we're really looking for are the back right ribs to be stimulated by the movement in the pose and the breathing. 2 more breaths. See if you can get your back right ribs to expand and relax. Then reach up to the chair. Forward fold. You'll have gorilla pose. You can stand on your palms. From your heels up the back of your legs, down the back side of your body, all the way across your crown to your eyebrows right now. Breathe. Let the whole back side of your body breathe. We a lot of times only really think of the front. It's just the part that we see. So consider that the conscious side of your body energetically, while the back is the unconscious side of you energetically. And then you really know that side through your felt sense. Maybe have a sigh in this pose. In our mantra that we're building so far, we have I am feeling and thinking. Release your hands from beneath your feet. Put your hands on the floor for crow pose. Crow pose, though, can also be done seated or on your back or as malasana, goddess squat. So hands down, knees on the outside of your armpits to tilt forward. Or curled up like a dead bug, arms inside of your knees. Or you can take a goddess squat. You have all those choices. Get into your pose and breathe. This pose has your body rounded like a C. It exposes this back lower rib cage area. Breathe into it for 3 more breaths. Still exposed in the malasana goddess squat. Breathe into it for 3 more breaths. When you get to your last breath, for everyone, somehow move to the chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breathe. Couple of breaths here. We will move to the equanimity sequence here soon. Equanimity is just a chance for us to become settled inside all the work we've done so far, all the energy we've opened up just so far. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump. Halfway lift and fold. Come rolling up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Then right side eagle pose. Wrap your right arm under your left arm at the upper arm and cross. And then twist your arms at the forearm. Palm to palm. You got a scratch on your head that's bleeding. I'm going to leave you these. Sit down deep. Squeeze your arms, squeeze your legs. And further, let the back of your pelvis, the back of your shoulders all be opened up. Keep the pit of your belly strong as the center of where you emanate from, your energy and your work comes from, the pit of your belly. Then step out. Left side, left arm under, cross your arms, palms together, left leg over. Of course, you might notice there's a variation where you could take this whole thing on your back and steady breathing. Why would you want to take it on your back? There are different things you can feel and experience physically. If for some reason energy moving is becoming a lot, it can make you dizzy at this stage of the practice. It would be advantageous to be completely on your back, more grounded. Step out, sweep your arms overhead, right arm under, squat, right leg over. Our physical practice helps us align our physical body, but also our energetic body. That's what has us creating through the rest of our day from a space of being centered, grounded, at peace, organized, attached to all the tools we have access to. Step out, sweep your arms overhead. Left side for the second set, left arm under. So you really twist your arms. We want to get the stretching all across the upper back. Left leg over. And sit down deep and squeeze your legs. And then with your arms, pull up so that the whole of your side is stretching. And then just breathe into the space you've created. Step out, sweep your arms overhead and hug your right knee into your chest and stand tall. You can hold your right foot with your hand or a strap or a towel and extend your knee. Breathe. This standing leg stretch does so many things. You can feel it stretching your kicking hamstring, maybe your standing quads, you're learning to balance the work of your legs, all kinds of things like that. And though we're switching over to being in movement from our periphery, arms and legs, to movement from our core out to the periphery. How would you do that now? Let your right thigh bone settle back into the back of your pelvis and then open your leg. You can go for the opening. Keep breathing. This kind of an opening is more collected and contained where your leg is pulling in, different from reaching way out. It's a little more controlled. Bring your leg forward, switch hands on your foot or hold the strap, and then open up, dancing Shiva. So you can stretch all the way down the outside line of the kicking leg. Come forward, hug your knee into your chest. Stand tall and open up to airplane. All of these standing poses ask us to manage our pelvis from one side to the other, to have a collected balance between the right and the left side, the masculine and the feminine side of our bodies. Hands pressed together, half moon, left arm down, right arm up to the ceiling, and you just breathe a steady breath and discover what you discover. The yoga practice is for discovery. How you are, your body is, well, that's perfect already. This is just you getting to learn more about what's so and what's possible. Take another breath, forward fold. Okay, let's hang here. So what I can tell when we're falling out of the pose a lot, we've lost a little bit of our grounding. Open your feet up wide and settle both feet down into your mat. Fix your gaze on just one point. Take a breath in, open up your mouth and sigh and just sink into your feet. Another breath. On the exhale, sink into your feet. Keep your feet anchored. Come rolling up to standing. As soon as you're standing tall, set your gaze and breathe. Don't change it. Hug your left knee into your chest. Keep your eyes on that point. Keep breathing and hold your left knee into your chest. With your strap or your hand, hold your left foot and extend your knee. Keep your eyes on the spot and breathe. From the pit of your belly, reach out to your feet, out to your fingers, out to the crown of your head. Then with the two sides of your pelvis level, open your leg to the left and keep your eyes on your spot and breathe. Steady, steady breathing. You've got this. All of your attention on your breathing. Bring your leg forward and switch hands. Keep your eyes. Open up. You might hold your knee or hold your foot as you reach to the back. Eyes on one spot. You just breathe. Keep your breath flowing. So you see it got really quiet, and then you'll all start losing your balance. Come forward, hug your knee into your chest. Sorry, self-fulfilling prophecy. Open up to airplane. And now the thing about yoga that it teaches us is we can begin again at any time. So if you were losing your balance and your attention was scattered, well, you know already you have your feet and your legs. Then you have the pit of your belly. Then half moon, hands to prayer and open up. You have this area where your diaphragm is to stretch and to breathe into in all directions. Steady breathing. You can even recover it mid-balance pose if you're losing your balance. Just stretch out to your fingers and your toes. Show yourself you can do that. One more breath. Good work. Forward fold and hang. I saw a lot of you working with that. Come on up to standing. We'll take standing bow. Right arm behind you, reach back, bend your knee and hold your ankle. Left arm in the air. Now stretch up and down. We have to have that. And then start stretching forward and back. From your center to your periphery, total body expression. Press, lift, move, fully express out. We're starting to bring ourselves toward coming to our fourth chakra, our chest, starting to open up physically in the area of the chest. One more breath. Step out. Good. Switch sides. Right foot down, reach back for your left foot. So you want your shoulder moved back, your forearm and palm opened, and then hold your ankle from the inside. It'd be different from your shoulder moved forward and your palm opened. Steady breath. You work the energy of the pose. You're starting to open up the area of your fourth chakra. Its element is air. There should be a quality of softness, but that's not often what I find when I'm trying to open that area on my body. I don't know. I sometimes find like steel trap to be the quality of it. Step out. Put your feet on the floor, maybe hands on your hips, thighs, or together, and let yourself just settle. Eyes open or closed. It's up to you. Maybe a couple of sighs. And then notice how you feel now after you've done that. Second set, standing bow pose. So we do want standing bow to have that impact on us where we feel like, whoa, I've gone somewhere I'm not sure I can control. And then we settle our system down. If you're finding this pretty easy, hold your foot, Ivy, right? Hold your shin. Your flexibility is not giving, you're too flexible for here, hold here. And then you just start kicking and stretching until it maybe goes into a full split and your hand moves down your shin. So go to your physical maximum. Don't hold back here. Don't hold back for worry of falling out. Get to the edge and reach, and that you're just barely holding on to the edge with your reaching. And step out. Feet on the floor, hands on your hips, left side. If you take this pose on with kind of a casual, like I can hold it here and I know I won't fall, I want to share with you there's something else. Jordan, let's change your arm. Do you feel how your shoulder's like this? Open it back. It's very common to work with learning that grip. So what's your physical edge? Get to the point where you feel your chest stretching, below your ribs stretching, the front of your pelvis stretching. Take 2 more breaths. Stay with it. 2 more. Reach for it. 1 more. Come on out. Feet on the floor. Good work. Come to the front of your mat. Last pose of our equanimity sequence, moving the energy up to a high level, but learning to keep it smooth at that high level. Left foot on the ground, sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Press your palms together. Especially if you're feeling like a little scattered, press every single fingertip together and eyes on one spot and breathe. Create stillness for yourself. You are capable when your whole system feels up, out of control, to create stillness. You're capable of that at any minute to choose it. Take another breath. Switch sides. Why is our system maybe up and a little out of control right now? Because we're moving a lot and doing weird things with it. And though, what are some other occasions when your system gets this feeling? Well, when we're confronted emotionally, we feel like we're going to get found out. We're going to be shamed because we thought we did something wrong or somebody's going to expose us. All those are different situations where we could have this feeling of no control, but we actually have this opportunity to become grounded and engage with it in a different way. One more breath. Look how strong you guys are. Step to the front of your mat if you're not already there. Inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift up halfway. Move to the chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side triangle. 2 legs long apart. Fingertips on the block or floor behind your front foot. Anchor the front big toe down. And then open up. Keep your breathing steady the whole time. We've done a lot of work on your earth chakra, your water chakra, fire chakra, even starting to work in the realm of air. We get anchored and grounded into the legs before we really go for it in the upper realms of the different energy chakras. Take another breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat, hands to your hips, and forward fold. My favorite is to stretch my fingertips out and sink my hips back and get all this side rib area, back rib area stretched and breathing. I consider it almost like this last opportunity to really have this area that's supposed to be maybe air and fire in our unconscious side of the body available for the coming igniting poses. So breathe and fill up your back ribs and exhale. Let there be some space and mobility. Yes, breathe and exhale. Walk your hands back in and come on up to standing. Face the front of your mat for standing single leg forward fold. We need some length between your feet. We need some width. And take your arms. Let's do this. Hands around behind you and palms pressed together in prayer position. Lift your chest up high and forward fold. Your front foot's big toe is an anchor. And driving your right hip back. Those are 2 anchor points. Keep on breathing. Tina, go longer. Yeah. That's it. Soften your front knee just a tiny bit, Jessica. Good work. You guys are, I don't know if you know this, but we have an incredible community here. And sometimes I look around, I'm like, you all are pros. You could teach the class. Your form and alignment and attention is so impressive to me sometimes. Twisting triangle, left arm goes straight down to the floor and don't lean your weight on it. So what do I mean by that? Don't all of a sudden throw your hips to the right and lean your weight to the left on your left fingertips. Keep everything linear, stretch long, and then twist. This is our last big twist before the igniting poses. You got it. So front foot's big toe, press it down. Pull that hip, the right hip back, and stretch your chest forward away from your hips that are reaching back. One more breath. Twist. Good. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch. Make your whole body neutral. Then left side triangle pose. Our mantra so far is I am root chakra, feeling sacral chakra, thinking right in the center of power, your 3rd chakra. And now head back, open up your chest, heart starting to open lovingly. Air chakra. Come on up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat. Arms behind you, interlace your hands, lift your chest up high, forward fold. Ensure that your feet are parallel to the short sides of your mat as you fold. Then spill your hands overhead. You could take this seated. You could be holding a strap so that your arms drop overhead. Keep a little bit of softness in the backs of your knees. When joints get locked in the system of our energy, it's considered like a stoppage of the flow of movement, kind of like when you kink a garden hose. So you always want some malleability in your joints. Your joints relate to your 2nd chakra, malleability, flowing. Come on up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat. Now it'll be your left foot forward, hands behind your back once again in prayer pose. Lift your chest up high and fold. They don't quite fit in prayer. Even this would be pretty nice, but you could make a box, fold forward. Keep your breath flowing. Steady breathing. You can straighten this a little more. You're more flexible than that. There, and fold. You know what you need is this foot over here. That's it. Yes, that's it. One more breath. Now we're taking on the twisting triangle. Right hand, just lightly touch your fingertips to the floor under your right shoulder. Just light. Keep your hips working back and your chest forward and turn. So this, keep it back. Weight in your back leg. Yes, chest toward the front of your mat. Breathe. So we're looking to stretch the back right ribs and twist them. Keep breathing into your back right rib cage. Yes. One more time. Do you feel it moving? Twist. Good. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Now we're ready for the heart. We've done some work to open it, but we're ready to really focus there. Come to a high plank and lower all the way down to your belly on the mat. We'll take locust pose. Let's keep your toes turned under like they were in the push-up that got you here. Your legs active. And then right now, let's keep your hands on the mat beside your chest and just stretch your chest forward like it's as though I'm going to slide myself across the floor. My elbows and my heels and my tailbone can stretch back while I'm reaching the crown of my head forward. You're on a sticky mat, so you won't slide, but imagine you're creating that kind of action. Now pull the second chakra, the low pit of the belly, in toward your spine. Your pelvis will become more neutral then. Breathe. Last breath, lift your chest and come on down. You can shake your hips from side to side. Now we'll do the next set. Same strong legs, arms around behind, interlace your hands or hold a strap, and then press your hands, your tail, and your heel back, and you'll start to open up your chest more and more. Now you still need the pit of your belly drawing in, and still see if you can breathe into your back bottom ribs, and just a soft opening of the chest. We'll gradually build bigger and deeper openings until we get to the biggest. One more breath, drop down. Shake your hips from side to side and bend your knees. Reach back and hold your ankles from the outside for floor bow and flex your feet. You always want to have your feet as a foundation. Keep your breath flowing. Kick back and rise up. So knees only hip width distance as you kick back and rise up. You could imagine that right between your knees, there's just hand pressing out on your inner knee and you just hug in. Just keep the action as though you're hugging in against the same pressure that Tamara's feeling right here, right now on her inner knees. Another breath. Come on down. You can wave your feet from side to side and do a little check-in with your lower back. Do you feel like you were sinking in it? Is there some compression feeling in your lower back? If it is, you've lost all of the front pit of the belly strength. Let's set up a next one. Reach back and hold your ankle. So I am feeling is that front pit of the belly. Pull the pit of your belly in. Kick back and reach up. Room forward on the conscious side. There's action on the conscious side so that there's space on the unconscious side. Whoa, think about that. There's action on the conscious side if I'm feeling. So there's space on the unconscious side if I'm feeling. That might be a lot to think about. Come on down. Wave your feet from side to side. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. From the downward facing dog, camel pose. Kneel down. Keep your toes turned under perhaps. Hands like they're going into your back pockets so that the front of your body is lifting. The back of your body is descending, but open. That's it. Keep breathing here. We're building the stability to open up the heart. I am feeling and thinking so that we have access to lovingly. Breathe into your chest. Let it expand and relax. Breathe into the back of your chest. Is there space there? Next breath, come up out of it. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch out long, neutral. Second set, knees down. Go for it, camel pose. Reach for and discover whatever there is for you to discover in your body right now with what we're working on. Good, I saw that pelvic settle. Keep lifting the pit of the belly, nice. The spot where a lot of us kind of lose the shape here, and it's tricky, is the back bottom ribs, just a little bit. And where do you get that? By pulling the pit of the belly in. It gives you access to the unconscious side. Come on up out of this, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch out. Then jump through, sit down, roll onto your back, and set up your bridge pose. It's the same shape that you just did in the camel. Same shape you did in the floor bow. Feet underneath of your knees, set hip width distance, press your feet down and lift your hips up. Tuck your shoulders under your body and create a foundation of your shoulders. Same as the floor bow, you can just imagine there's pressure on your inside knees that you're gently hugging. You might notice it lets the back of your pelvis open. That's the back of the second chakra. Feeling. Breathe. You've got a lot of openness and stability for the third, thinking. And we're working to expand the chest, the upper back, the fourth, air, human loving kindness. Come on down, knees go side to side. Igniting, opening up, waking up something that's deep inside of you. Bridge pose into wheel, press down, rise up. Once you get yourself up into the bridge, set your hands wide, default on too wide, and then rise up, straighten your arms, wheel pose. Just get up there and feel how it is for you today in your body in this pose. I've at least over the years learned to not expect anything, to just get up there and see what's happening today. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. Now you know a little something. Let's do the next one. Set it up. Don't think too much between them. Let your body talk to you and you just listen. Press down, rise up. Just set your brain to the side. Your body's super intelligent here. Take another breath. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. Press down, rise up. Third one. So you know what we've got here. This is also called in Sanskrit Chakrasana. It means the entire line of 7 are addressed here. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees go side to side. It especially gets your throat chakra now. We haven't even talked about that. Right there at your neck. Expressing your voice. Press down, rise up. Can you feel all of that stretching in your neck? I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. Ready to go again? See what else we can discover? Press down, rise up. From your throat, you also have this area of your forehead between the eyebrows. See if you can feel that skin stretching. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. This is your third eye. You've heard it called that. Next one, press down and rise up. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision. Hear those words in your head then. Tuck your chin and come down. Knees side to side. Press down, rise up. So in your body, there's fascia, and it connects from your eyebrows down the back of your body all the way to your heels. So it stands to reason from the third eye, forehead area through to your scalp, something physically stretching. Tuck your chin and come down. We're not finished yet, but take a rest. Knees side to side. I don't know. Does it matter? You have this crazy assumption I was counting. We're going to do 2 more. Why not? Ready? 2 more. Press down. You don't even have the whole story yet. Press down, rise up. Here's the whole thing. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision for my divine purpose. Tuck your chin and come on down. Let's just try that together. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly. Do you ever do that with your thinking about your whole design thing? You're beating yourself up lovingly. Expressing the vision for my divine purpose. Last one. Here we go. That's our mantra. Get ready. Press down, rise up. Let your body be easy. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision for my divine purpose. Tuck your chin and come down, Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees open. You can rest your arms to the side or on your body. Breathe. Feel the back of your body breathing into the mat. Dead bug pose. You can hug your knees into your chest, hold the outer edges of your feet, pull your knees back to your shoulder. Our practice, whether we're aware of it or not, it doesn't matter. It's a journey into power, and it's a journey toward something like the mantra that we're using today. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. And I didn't make that up. It comes from an old book called New Chakra Healing. So now that we did all that opening, like that's more than we came in with, more than we normally use or do in ourselves, we have to stabilize it. Legs straight up in the air, curl up and reach for your ankles on the outside. Once you get curled up, so your legs straight up, don't bring them to you, just curl up as much as you can. There's not like a finish line here. Sink the pit of your belly down into your body. You could also reach forward. Then just 5 times, breathe in, and then sink the belly deeper. All you're doing here is practicing sinking your belly deep. So there's no need to lean your head back and arch. We're just sinking the belly. Finish 5. And after you finish 5, lower your right leg down. And so not turned out. Turned out does a whole different thing. Straight in, like you're hugging into something. And then we'll curl here 5 times. You want to pull the pit of your belly down into your spine each time, never letting the curve of your lower back leave the floor. That's a little tricky. Last one, hug your knees into your chest and rest. We're going to do the other side. So switch your legs now, the left one down, the right one up, and curl up and reach for the extending ankle. And it's a little tricky. You got to imagine it's hugging in against something. Hug. There's going to be a quality of pulling this extending leg back, and it'll make you stronger if you can pull it. 3 more, 2 more, 1. Hug your knees. Good. Rock head to tail several times. So we are aware now that the back of our body is just as important as the front of our body, maybe more so from years of ignoring it. Wake it up by rocking on it. Move through to downward facing dog. Right leg forward, pigeon pose. We start the opening poses. Something tucked under the right hip could be a good tool. We want from the bird's eye view as we look at the 2 sides of your pelvis that they're level. We learned already that when the pelvis isn't, there's something going on there that's maybe not what we were looking for. We don't have a sense of having a collected amount of stability there. So keep your breath flowing and open up to the mantra, whatever the mantra may actually mean for you right now. It will be different for everyone. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. That could mean anything. And whatever it does mean, that would be the right thing. I told you in our Himalayan Institute retreat, we'll look at the classical iteration of yoga and where it comes from, and then we'll look at what's become the Baptiste methodology that makes it a little more accessible in a modern culture. And one of the pieces that's innate right here in your 6th chakra, the place where we're speaking to the vision, it speaks to anything as you want it to happen and it fulfills on your life purpose as defined by you. Misconstrued, we could go through a system of learning like yoga and think that the teacher knows what's best for us. And that's not ever true. The teacher knows tools and shares tools, but it's up to you to use the tools the way you see fit for the outcome that you are looking for. The teacher doesn't really have anything to do with the outcome. Let's switch to the other side. Left leg forward. Now challenge yourself here. In any pose, we could practice for 100 years and kind of just do it sort of, and it would always stay the same, the outcome. And that's okay if that's the way you want it, but yoga is a pretty incredible expressway to the divine purpose because it has you be methodical and in the work of it. So how would you be on the expressway in this pose? Well, physically, you'd move your shin more square to the front of your mat. It would bring more sensation into your left hip and lower back here. You would maybe open your eyes and set your gaze different from closing them. Closing them's fine too, but it's a different tool. You would be very synced into your breath here. Or mantra is a powerful tool. Perhaps you're using whatever of the mantra has stuck with you. You don't have to have it all memorized for it to be right. Whatever has stuck with you, and you're just keeping that present at the front of your mind. You're using the muscles of your brain, if you will, expressing the mantra to give you access to freedom and balance. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. Sit on your left hip and swing your right leg around for double pigeon. So you'll do whatever listening you need to do to set up the appropriate pose for you. Hips elevated is one modification many of us don't take and almost everybody would benefit from. It's probably because we don't have so many props around, but your folded up mat or folded up towel, an inch is enough. Let your ankle hang off the side of your thigh. So close the gap a little more. So put your side foot on this block. Yep, and flex your ankles. Bring it over one more step forward so the whole of yes. Your bottom shin could be heel back towards your hip, or you could bring your ankle forward just like that, Jessica. Yep, until your shins are stacked shin on top of shin. For any of you, you could put your hands on the floor beside your hips and move your hips back. That may help you just get up out of your pelvis and your low back. You might just be working to keep your low back lifted, or if it's staying lifted, you might fold forward. You're welcome to try anything. Again, you're the one in the driver's seat about how this practice is going to be for you. Take yourself to your physical edge with any pose. And then breathe into the physical edge in that space and just discover whatever there is. One of our practices is asana. You know that. You come and do that. One is meditation. You can get a feel for what that is. But the third one is inquiry. And inquiry is the act of asking a question, not for the answer, but to discover something. And ideally, it's what's present the whole way through the practice. Now switch sides, right leg on the bottom, left leg on the top. So check yourself out. You probably have the way you know you can do this pose, but always come at it from an inquiry. Well, what if it's like this? And what if it's like that? And what if I try this? Maybe you think I'm flexible and I always do it this way, like the max way, I can do that. But if you do add one of the modifications, you might discover a nuance in the pose you'd never discovered before. In a space, a life lived from inquiry, life becomes endlessly fascinating. Keep your breath moving. Stay interested in the results you're experiencing. It can be really easy to shift off into something else and just shift back in. Set yourself up for, I think we have enough time. Let's set ourselves up for frog pose. So one of the things that you want to have happen in frog is you want one knee on your mat, so 90-degree angles, and you want one off of your mat. So you could leave a knee on the edge of your mat and have the other one hanging off and some space for your arms so they're not sliding away in the sweat. I would also maybe put a towel under this knee. You want it to be able to slide. Yep. So set it up however. Now, there are many options. You could do a seated wide leg forward fold. You could take the pose to the wall where your hips are shin distance away. So Tamara, push back away from the wall. You want your butt under your knees. And then your feet open up in the same 90-degree angles. You will have to gather in the pit of your belly. It's pretty easy to let the front of the pelvis hang. Then you just lose that alignment and then therefore this sense of the system of energy flowing. Set your gaze on one point like you're asked to do in every pose and breathe. Steady, easy breathing. A concentration on the exhales, different from just the air puffing out, all gone in the first count of an exhale, long and steady. Lift in your pit of the belly, lift in the front ribs so that the two sides, front and back, are equally long. At any time that you discover yourself distracted and thinking, that's easy to have happen, I think, in this pose. Come into listening to your breathing or mentally expressing the mantra. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. The vision of my divine purpose. And if your thinking takes you into this should not be, I cannot do, just stay with it. Your breathing, your gaze, the mantra, and see what's there if you stay. Just stay with it. This isn't necessarily the most physically comfortable pose. You don't say, huh? And though you are fine here, I know some of you have heard me share the longest I've ever been asked to hold this pose has been 45 minutes. Now, I did not save 45 minutes today to hold this pose, but we do have a little time. Flex your ankles. Know that you could also take this as a seated wide leg forward fold if for whatever reason doing it belly down like this or back down just doesn't work for you. Seated wide leg forward fold. Looks like Laura's showing you here or Susanna's showing you there. Just focus on your breathing. You've got it. Just stay with it a little bit longer than you usually do. I promise it won't be 45 minutes. Allow the free knee to slide. When it starts to become physically a little more challenging, that's where you'll go to your breath. You might then start to notice when things become physically challenging, they've just actually become emotionally challenging. And if it's your first time holding this pose, you may need to give yourself a relief and try coming back in. Stay with it just a bit longer. Let your free knee in the pose slide. Stay with your breath. It's not much longer than here. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. Bring your feet together and slide forward. You held that for 5 minutes. Upward facing dog might feel really good in the front of your hips. Move back to your mats. We'll take the seated single leg extensions next. If you happen to have a towel around you and there's lots of puddling, just go ahead and wipe that up. If not, we'll get it at the end. Long right leg, bend your left leg. Turn and face your long right leg and fold over it for a seated single leg extension. Left hand maybe to your right baby toe. You get to really experience the back side of your body in these poses. These are release poses. You imagine why there would be these would be called release and they would show up in the practice at this point. This whole unconscious side of the body being stimulated and in an effort to release. Switch sides. Right hand to your left baby toe. I a lot of times will take the free hand and wrap it around behind my back and let the back of my hand rest on the opposite side of my pelvis. It just seems to create a traction through my back that allows for more access to release. It may not work that way for you, but that's the way it works for me, at least right now. A sigh could be a really helpful tool. Now, I'll say this over the years, something that I've noticed is when I discover a part of my physicality that starts changing in my yoga practice, it occurs as like hurting when I'm not practicing for a little while. Like as I started to get this middle part of my back rib area to open, if I didn't come and do it, it was like the worst thing ever until I had mobility in that area more freely. Okay, come on up, 2 legs in front of you. Hinge forward, reach for your baby toes. Soft knees are a perfectly fine adaptation in this posture. We have 2 choices here, the seated forward fold that would have our body be really long. But then there's also the rounding of it. So there's negative space between the thighs and the chest. That feels pretty good too. It's just a little more surface, especially in this releasing of the back side, the unconscious side. Let's consider the mantra while we know this unconscious side is what's being stimulated. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. Come on up. We'll take this reverse tabletop, hands behind you, point your toes and hug your arches, your ankles, and your inner shins together, and then lift up. Your hands will be pointing toward your feet, the awkward direction. Yep. And you can just reach your toes for the ground. They probably won't touch for a lot of you. And then just hug your most inner ankles together. They're not going to touch, but bring some action there. Now that you're in the pose, free, easy breathing. We're trying to establish a balance between the back and the front of the body. And then sit your hips down. Flex your feet so your legs stay really active. Make C shapes with your hands and put them around each side of your pelvis. Then bring your forearms to the ground and press your hips away from you and your heels away from you. So that this whole side of your body stretches. Then press your elbows into the mat and let your chest start to open so the whole of the fish pose is opening. Nothing sinking, crouching, crunching, compressing in the back of your body for this fish pose. The whole of the sides and the front long until the chest opens. The throat opens. You'll even feel the forehead and the scalp stretching. Good. Then tuck your chin and relax onto your flat back for rejuvenation. There are a lot of choices here: headstands and handstands, waterfall poses, but shoulder stand is the classic. You can roll your feet overhead and get set up with the plow pose. Set up meaning that your shoulders become an anchor on the floor, they become the feet. Hands support your low back. You may stay in the plow. For me, as I get older, my neck and shoulders get tighter, and I oftentimes just stay in the plow. But if it's right for you, you've got good support with your hands at your lower back, take your legs straight up into the air. This pose is called rejuvenation, this whole section of this sequence. Why? Because we're upside down, and it's bringing lots of blood flow to the top of your scalp, your forehead. So think about that. You've got your sixth and seventh chakras here. The vision is your sixth, your third eye. Crown chakra is the seventh, your divine purpose. So you can see how being totally upside down, say in a headstand or a handstand, relate to that, but so too does even the waterfall or the shoulder stand. So get into the pose and breathe. Now, if you're falling out for balance reasons, that's no problem, but just get upside down and see if you can get into a place of stillness and just breathe. Be in an inquiry, a discovery of whatever there is to discover. We can't know because it's undiscovered. What I've discovered is just something that's possible for you to discover. It's not necessarily what you'll discover. Only you know. Your sixth chakra, only you. It's your unique vision. And it is exactly as it should be. Steady breathing, whatever you're attempting. Take 10 more breaths. Calm and steady for these last few because you're probably at your edge. When you complete the steady 10th exhale, gently bring yourself out of this pose into the finishing pose. So it's child's pose for like headstand, handstand, arm balance. Plow pose, deaf man's pose. All the way through to being flat on your back, hugging your knees into your chest. For everyone, make your way to being on your back with your knees hugging into your chest. We move on to deep rest. Drop your knees to the right and look to the left. A simple twist, easy. Put your body in the shape, in the position of the pose. And then take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth and sigh. You might do that a couple of times until you feel like you're at ease, you're easy in your body. At rest from doing, at rest from the work of the brain, and willing to just be at ease, being. Switch sides. Sometimes we're not really even willing to consider that there might be a divine purpose for us, our unique own individual self. And yet here you are. A couple of sighs, letting go. Letting go of your thoughts, your beliefs, letting yourself just be. Supta Baddha Konasana. So onto your flat back. Let the ground support you. Soles of your feet together, knees open wide. In studio, you have a cold eye towel to the right or to the left of your mat. Should really be right within arm's reach. Arrange your bones here. For me, that usually means that I have to move my pelvis from this anterior tilt to scooting my cheeks toward my heels so my pelvis is in a more neutral position. I can feel the bones being supported by the floor. Take a sigh and really just let go and see if that's what you feel, if you feel like you're supported. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. When you're ready, stretch your legs out long and wide for Shavasana. Arms open wide and your palms face up. Another breath, another letting go. And just lie here, still and open, firm in the knowledge that exactly where you are right now is where you're meant to be, and that as you are is whole, perfect, and complete. Open, vulnerable, and able to receive. Give yourself this opportunity to be. At times, your physical body or your brain will call your attention, and know that you can just take a sigh and settle and let go and just be. Breathing. Perhaps take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, squeeze your fingers and your toes. Roll your head from side to side or stretch your arms overhead. And then hug your knees into your chest. Roll onto your side and just rest there for a moment and touch into our mantra. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. Bring yourself up into a sitting position. Arrange your body so that you're comfortable and sit tall. We're going to chant Om together 3 times. What you're watching for in the 3 syllables of Ah, O, is to start at the base that I am and bring the sense of the vibration and the sound all the way up through to the crown of your head in the end. So feel free to make a lot of noise and have it not come out the way you'd hoped. Let it be a little messy. Hands in prayer position. We'll start by emptying our breath. Take a deep breath in, blow all the air out. Here we go. Inhale. Pause for a moment. Check in. I am feeling, thinking, lovingly expressing the vision of my divine purpose. Is there an intention for you for the rest of your day? Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead and inhale. Exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Good work. Excellent work. Thank you for joining. If you have questions about our upcoming trainings, about our Himalayan Institute retreat, I'm happy to answer your questions afterwards. If you didn't get on the attendance sheet before class, add yourselves. Thank you for coming from home. Otherwise, swab up the puddles around you so nobody slips and falls. And I'll see you the next time. I'm teaching next on Wednesday at 4. Maybe I'll see you in class on Wednesday. Otherwise, if you're staying for restorative, take everything out of the room so we can clean it all up and you can come back in for that class. Thank you.